Welcome to the Pitmaster Podcast. We're barbecue competition competitors that aim to share information, advice, tips, and tall tales about our favorite pastime. Head over to thepitmasterpodcast.com for all things Pitmasters, or follow us on your favorite social media platform. And now, here are the hosts of the Pitmaster Podcast, the two-time grand champion, SCA World Champion finalist, and barbecue specialist of Smoke Ain't No Joke Barbecue, the Anthony Luan, and the 24-time grand and reserve grand champion, reserve world grand champion, Windover High Roller champion, and the founder of Pitmaster Barbecue Supply Company stores in Utah, the old man himself from Big Johnson's Barbecue, Jesse Johnson.
This is Greg Rempe from the Barbecue Central Show, and you are listening to the Pitmasters Podcast, and they are doing it live.
We'll do it live.
That's right, Bill. I just said that. They're going to do it live.
We'll do it live.
Yes, live. They're going to do it live.
What up, Pitmasters? Live on a Tuesday night again. How's it going, Jesse?
How you doing, buddy? How's your Vegas trip?
It was awesome. It was fun. But you know what I was thinking when I was listening to that intro there, Jesse? It says our favorite pastime. That's barbecue's my full-time job. It's your full-time job. It's Cory Jones from Hearth Heroes full-time job type of scenario. Is it really our favorite pastime, or is it our careers?
It's a hobby that turned into a job. I call them jobbies.
Right.
Most of my businesses have gone from hobbies to being jobs. So
right.
I still love it. So it's still a passion. Right. So
true that. Man, I did drive to Vegas this weekend, towed the new trailer down there. Got a solid. Oh, it pulled great as long as I didn't have that 40-mile-an-hour headwind. So I got a solid like 8 miles per gallon. Yeah. Got off one exit, filled up, hit the next exit, filled up. That's what it felt like all the way down. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty brutal. Everybody that had trailers did not like it because of the crosswinds and everything. But on the way back, the tailwind was amazing, and it pulled great, dude. My truck wanted to do 80, and I had to keep slowing her down because she wanted to run with it. So it was awesome.
I remember coming back from Laughlin one time past Jason Stuckey. He's like, "How fast were you going?" I said, 80. He goes, "You passed me standing still, and I was doing 80. I said, "My speedometer said 80, so I was doing 80. He said, "Your trailer's fully loaded." I said, "I know how to load a trailer."
Right.
And when you got a dually, weight doesn't really that matter until you get into the 30,000 pound range. So
right. Yeah, that's wild. Well, yeah, I went down there, cooked an ancillary and 2 steaks. We're not going to write home about the steaks. I just finished mid-pack. There's a lot of factors that I think that went into it. One, my little C4 was struggling with the wind, and so I think I got kind of a smoldering taste. I got some lower taste scores than I expected, so I think that kind of had a factor to do with it. But I did cook the Monster Burger, and I ended up taking 4th in that category.
That was a pretty burger, man. I'd have been excited to bite into that thing.
Right. It was a triple patty burger, so the first patty went down. Then I put a layer of chips and nacho cheese, put another patty down, did a layer of birria on that third patio down. Then I did it with the taco theme, so I kept it with the cilantro and onions and some on the top, and then
just missing some green chilies, man.
Right? Yeah. And you know what? I talked to Steve-O, who won that category. I went over to talk to him. He's like, "Dude, you got to taste my cheese." So I tasted his cheese, and he goes, "It's the New Mexico green chilies." And I was like, "I need to steal some of this cheese," joking with him. He's like, "You should." But obviously I wasn't going to do that. Then he took first place with that cheese. So that green chilies probably would have set it off, Jesse.
Yeah, it would have been perfect addition to that Hispanic flavor, though, man. That sounds really good. So where did they have the competition at?
They had it right there in the parking lot of the Bass Pro Shop.
All right.
So it was
same spot as last time, or were they at Cabela's the time before?
Nope, it's the same spot as last time, and then that's where her event is going to be as well, coming up later this fall.
Nice.
It's a great parking lot. She's expecting hopefully around 97 to 100 teams to that, and she has the space for it. It's a great location. There's convenience stores around there. There's restaurants around there. You can stay at the hotel right there in the same parking lot. So literally, once you show up, you don't need to go too far to find anything.
That's awesome.
So it's awesome. Yep. And then next week There is going to be the American Fork High School Caveman Cookout. That is going to be proceeds are going to be going to the band of American Fork High School. That is a Friday night cook because that's an SEA Friday night steak cook. It looks like we're having one steak and an appetizer turn in, and then the following day, it's going to happen. The Pitmasters podcast are going to team up and cook a 4-meat competition the following Saturday.
What are you cooking? You cooking ribs and pork?
Ribs and pork. And what are you doing? You're doing
I'm doing a Snake River Farms gold Wagyu brisket from our friend up in Boise, and Nella sent me down a nice brisket.
Very nice.
So
and then,
hot and fast.
Yep, and then Crystal is going to do our chicken. So we'll
She's
just
been practicing. It looks good.
Yeah. Yep, it does. It really does. So yeah, we'll see how we go out there and you know.
So you got a big enough bed in that trailer so I can lay down?
Yeah, dude, I can sleep 6. Yeah, so I'm dragging that along, and yeah, we're gonna have a nice place to stay. You know, air conditioning if needed, and get out of the weather if we need it, and also places to sleep. But we'll be good.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for bringing the trailer for that. That'll be fun.
Problem. Yep. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be fun. It'll be great. It's gonna be your first time cooking in almost a year. I guess July would be a year for you.
Yeah. Yep.
So
that brisket I made in July was right there.
Right.
I just didn't vent it. Look at your notes, son.
Exactly.
So
heck yeah. Well, just go ahead and let everybody know about your events, and then we'll go and talk to Cory about.
So it looks like our 5 Points location is going to be opening sometime next week.
Nice.
And then we're going to doing a grand opening backyard competition on May 24th at that location. Huge parking lot, great lights. It's going to be a great spot. And then obviously we got the June 14th backyard competition in West Jordan. And then we got the KCBS Nordic Championships June 20th and 21st in Riverdale. That's a $6,500 contest. And we got another pro event at Blue Compass RV in Ogden, August 15th and 16th. That'll be another $6,500 comp. So that's going to be not KCBS. It'll be a Utah barbecue sanctioned event, 4-meat contest. So it'll be good.
Right. Yeah. So just everybody else too, for if you're chasing for that jack spot, obviously we have the 3 Utah competitions, and then there's also Bullhead City opened up because of Brad Leininger took his 7th GC. So there is opportunity here on the West Coast. Great opportunity here in Utah. So make sure you plan accordingly to be able to make that happen as well. So
need more teams. We need more teams signing up. So but it's still early.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. I'm one of those guys. I try to sign up early. I try to let the promoters know. I give at least 2-3 a month out if possible. Yeah. So help the promoters out, everybody. Sign up early.
They gotta realize is that when they sign up last minute, it means I've gotta scramble to get more judges, because we cap our judges based on what our entries are. And a lot of our judges are traveling from outside the state. So if you can get signed up, I'd appreciate it. You know, I'm not Christy Vanover. I don't have 90 teams there in 2 hours, but you know, we're trying.
Yeah, I get it. Well, cool. Let's go talk to Cory and see what he's been up to, man.
Yeah, let's talk about those products.
For sure.
We call it Thermapen 1, the first true 1-second cooking thermometer. Its unprecedented speed means Thermapen 1's responsiveness approaches the speed of thought. Because when you're plating the perfect menu or smoking the perfect side of barbecue, you don't have time to think about how your instant read thermometer is accurate to 0.5 degrees in 1 second or less, or how rugged and waterproof it is, or how big, elegant and bright the backlit display is. You'll just know it works, because our perfection powers your perfection. Seek perfection with Thermapen 1.
Welcome to the show, Cory. How are you, man?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Very good.
Yeah, man. So we're just going to jump into this interview here. Man, you have a lot of people tuning in. Go ahead and give them a shout out. Just say hi to your people.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
We sent out a lot of invites.
Yeah, this is awesome. But yeah, let's just get started. Let's hit the ground level. I know it's the common question we say every week, but Cory, how'd you get into barbecue? What was your intro to barbecue?
So what we did is we started out years ago. I started out as a line cook, went to culinary school at Le Cordon Bleu, got my culinary degree. I tell everybody, don't waste your time on culinary school. It's waste of money. But we did almost 20 years in it, and then we left right after COVID. So started up the barbecue seasoning company with a buddy of mine. He chose to go a different route. I bought him out, and we've just been hitting the ground running.
So how many different products do you have in your lineup?
So we got 4. We got a sweet, a spicy, a fiery, and then a salt, pepper, garlic. And when we changed the game with the salt, pepper, garlic. We went with pink Himalayan sea salt and whole crushed black peppercorns.
Very nice. Very nice.
So it gives you that nice fresh pepper pop.
Yep.
And do you have any injections too as well?
No, we just do the four rubs right now. We're working on some more, but we're focusing on the 4.
Right.
Very nice.
So how did you actually get hands on barbecue? Did you always barbecue as growing up, even going through culinary school?
Nope. I was a straight culinary student. I didn't have nothing to do with cooking growing up. And then I decided wanted to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So I jumped into culinary school, jumped into the restaurant life, and then we just started into the barbecue probably about 10 years ago, honestly.
Nice. And then do you have any competition experience, or is it mostly just backyard stuff?
Just backyard stuff. I've never done a competition. I mean, I guess I've done a couple little like local competitions with some friends. We used to do one every year, and it was basically to bring back like the community members and just we fed the whole community.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to bring some humanity back to liking everybody again.
Right. So let's just go through your catalog here. Let's see here. I'm just pulling everything up here. So
while he's looking that up, what's your favorite pits to cook on? You're obviously got to be cooking a little bit now.
Yeah, we cook. I got a Blackstone. I also have a Pit Boss Laredo 1000 that we use at home just because it's just me and my wife, my youngest daughter, and my middle daughter. And then we have a homemade one too on a trailer that we use.
A big offset.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's holds a whole hog.
Love that. Love cooking whole hogs.
Right. That's where you started, really, Jesse, right? You started.
That's what started me is cooking whole hogs and learning all the Cajun and Creole dishes from my great uncles when I was down in Picayune, Mississippi. So
that's awesome. So let's walk through the process of the Fiery Blaze bottle here.
So our Fiery is our hottest one.
Okay. So other than just the hottest one, how did it develop? Where did it come from?
So we started with the sweet spark and the spicy embers was our 2 flavors. And then I had some people, they're like, oh, we want hotter. So then I was like, all right. So I took the spicy and I was like, how can I make this hotter? So we did Thai peppers and I was like, it's not hot enough. So then I was like, how can I do this? Make it hotter. So then I went to habaneros and Thai peppers. And I was like, all right, still not hot enough. So then I went and found the Mexican Dabo peppers and put that in there. And I was like, that's where it's at. Perfect heat right there. You got tons of heat. You got immense amount of flavor. So it doesn't like ruin you, but it's got all that heat with a ton of flavor.
Because heat without flavor, that's easy to do. I mean, you can kick it up with, reapers and whatever kind of peppers you want to add, but you got to have that flavor in a barbecue rub.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we wanted. We wanted it to be hot, but we also wanted it to be super flavorful.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, who wants to just wreck their stomach?
Right. Well,
I've done that to a few judges on purpose before.
Whoa.
they were like, this was bland. I'm like, I'll give you bland.
And then so the smoldering coals, is that the one that you stated that was your ground point? Is that the one that we were talking about with the crushed peppers and everything?
Yep, that's the salt, pepper, garlic. Yep.
The SPG. And then tell us a little bit about the development of this one, because SPG is a very hard market to get into. Everybody has an SPG, and what set yours up different than everybody else's, like at Jesse's barbecue shop? Why are they going to pick up your product versus any other SPG product?
So when we started, I knew everybody had an SPG, and I was like, the first thing I'm going to do is it's going to be pink Himalayan sea salt versus like the iodized salt, because everybody's has iodized salt. And I was like, how do you set it apart? Well, go with pink Himalayan sea salt. Then I was like, the next process is, do I use just regular stone ground pepper or whatnot? And we were like, no, let's toast the black peppercorns, and then we'll run them through a spice grinder and just crack them. So when you get the bottle, you still have that robust flavor of the pepper, but you also have some whole pepper, crushed peppercorn in there for your steaks, your briskets, whatever. And then we tried a few different garlics. We went garlic powder, and I didn't like the way that turned out. And then we went with granulated garlic, and I was like, that's where it is. So then we toasted that granulated garlic to bring that flavor of the garlic ahead. So
nice. So did you say toasted garlic, or you just said it's just?
Yeah, we toast the granulated garlic before we mix it in.
Can you tell me a little bit that process?
Yeah, that process just really kicks up the flavor for the peppercorns and the garlic.
Yeah, so we take it and we lay it out on a cookie sheet with parchment paper, and then we toast it at like 170 for about 4 minutes, and then just let it cool, and we run it back through like a food processor so it brings it back to life.
Okay,
it's not clumped up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to give that a go. And then so does it when you apply it to a brisket, do those peppercorn shells kind of stand out a little bit? Do you see that they kind of leave the brisket after the wrap process and everything? What's the end result of that product?
They stand out 100%. I'm gonna pull a label here as I got one beyond. I don't know if you can see. You can see the peppercorn still in there. So we literally just pulsate the peppercorns.
Okay.
So you get it to like an 18 or a 16 mesh grind, or what are you going for?
I literally just do it for like 4 seconds.
Gotcha. Just to crack them, break them open that flavor up.
Yep, open that flavor palette. And that way you get that robust pepper flavor.
Nice. And then we have your spicy ambers bottle here. What's all in this stuff here?
So with that, it's granulated garlic, onion, crushed red peppers, and then we have a pepper blend that goes in there: paprika, onion powder, granulated garlic, black pepper, garlic salt, a few other things.
Very nice. And then is this kind of like, from what I'm picking up on just with your product line, that it's pretty much a universal rub. You're not specifying any certain kind of cuts of meats. It's just, or even vegetables. It's just all kind of universal, right?
Yeah, they're all purpose rubs. We like I said, we went with the barbecue theme because buddy of mine was supposed to do the competition side. He chose to go a different route. But at that time we had already filed all the LLC paperwork and everything. So I was like, not going to pay the money to change out barbecue in the name.
Yeah, so. Right. Perfect. And then it looks like, let's see, what is the sweet spark about?
So that's a sweeter rub. It has no heat at all. We got a lot of people that fall in love with that one. Okay. It's probably our salt, pepper, garlic, and then our sweet spark is probably the top two.
So you got some sponsored teams that are doing well with those. Like you've got a team in Texas won a couple of weeks in a row. What are they running on their brisket to win like that?
So they're running the fiery. I guess down in Texas they really like that heat. So they're running that fiery on the brisket and chicken.
What's the name of the team?
Crazy Country Barbecue Team.
Gotcha.
So they're out of Anson, Texas.
Okay. And that's all they're running, or are they running other products as well?
So they use the sweet and the fiery as much as I know. He does a couple other little things too, but
very nice.
The sweet and the fiery for sure.
Got it. And then is this an at-home setup that you got going on? I shouldn't say at home. Is it like a commissary setup and you're doing your own bottling, or are you having a co-packer doing all this for
No,
you?
we do it all. We have a ghost kitchen that we're part of. And then I mix, I batch, I taste, I bottle, I label, I seal, I advertise, I do it all. There is
Very
no
nice.
co-packers.
So where are you getting the stuff from? Is it obviously if you're getting large quantities, it should be pretty fresh, but where are you supplying from? Is it from like a local store? Where are you getting your supply for your stuff at?
Our peppers come from a local store here, and then a lot of ours come either from the Costco Business Center, Restaurant Depot, or we have accounts through like Cisco, US Foods, Performance, all them guys.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So let's actually, I just, because we've never really had anybody on the show that's actually from creation to bottle. What is a day of like to start off with, with in the kitchen? Tell us a little bit about how the day goes.
So when we start, we I get everything ready, get all the, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm doing sweet, I'll get all that lined up and ready to go. We have big Cambros. I mix everything by hand. So I'll weigh everything out, dump it in the Cambro, mix it up, shake it up, and then we'll sample it, make sure it tastes where it needs to be, and then we'll start bottling.
When you like a Cambro, the first thing that comes to mind is just a heat where we store our meat. Is it like a big bowl? What is it exactly? Oh, it's a Cambro bucket.
Just a
bucket.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
So Cambro bucket.
That's how I used to mix I used a Cambro bucket and then one of those great big salad mixing Cambros that hold like 25 pounds.
Cambro bucket and these guys.
Go back and forth till you get the right mix. And tell you what, though, going to a co-packer really helped the consistency of the product that I was making. So
yeah, and we'll eventually get there. I think I have some friends that also have a hot sauce, so we're working on maybe working with them a little bit.
Got it. So how many bottles are you doing a day? Are we doing it just to supply to demand? Are you pre-bottling? How many bottles are you doing? I guess a day or a week.
I probably do between 3 and 4 cases every 2 weeks per seasoning right now.
Okay.
More for supply and demand as we grow. I don't want to get too far ahead and then it's just sitting there.
Right.
So.
Definitely. And then so you're literally taking orders and then shipping them out as well too, right? So you're spending 5, 6, 7 days a week doing this?
Yep, we do. Yeah, I run probably every day of the week doing it. I mean, I got 3 orders sitting over here ready to go tomorrow morning.
Nice. Yeah. And then so I just wanted to, like, I've always thought about doing rubs, but I've just never wanted to commit to it because it sounds like a ton of work. Jesse, I know you've got into it. And then is it just hard to maintain? How long have you had your rub out, Jesse?
We bought out our rubs. I've had my pork rub for almost 12 years, but we started bottling it about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then our SPG it's the number one seller in the store by a long shot. So we did 4,000 bottles of that last year.
Jeez. And then it's just wild, just those type of numbers, it's just
I only have two rubs right now. We're working on a couple different ones, but yeah.
Yeah, I would say since we started in May of 23, and I've sent out probably 2,500 bottles.
Wow.
In a little under 2 years.
Nice. So you're slowly getting into it. And then how are you marketing this? Are you just doing, Facebook paid ads, Instagram, TikTok? Are you dancing with the rubs? What are you doing for your marketing?
We have all social media. We have YouTube. We have TikTok is probably our biggest platform. We have over 3,000 followers on there. Facebook. So we're just making posts. I got a friend of mine that she makes all my videos for me for content. So that gets posted everywhere. And we just, word of mouth.
Content is king when making food, showing them how you're making it, and getting that content out there. That's how all the major players in the stores are getting that demand for their product in the stores. So content is absolutely king for that kind of stuff. So if you were going to help a backyard team, tell them that, I start everybody with their new pits. I'm like, all right, do some pulled pork. What would you suggest for a backyard guy to start with some pulled pork with your products?
Are you talking which flavor?
Yeah.
So we have a restaurant that we're affiliated with in Red Wing, Minnesota. They're called the Mac Shack. He does a pulled pork mac and cheese, and he mixes our sweet and our spicy together. And it's probably his biggest seller. So that's what I would say would be to mix the sweet and the spicy, because you get a little bit of that heat, but you also get the flavor of the sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably where I would go with like a pulled pork. I'd go with the sweet and the spicy.
Nice. And then what about for ribs and chicken? Probably the same recipe for the pork as ribs, right?
With ribs, I do make a lot of spicy. It depends on who I'm cooking for. There's also a lot of people up here that like the fiery on ribs. But with the smoke, it intensifies that heat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be really careful with that, so you don't wreck yourself. But I would say it's spicy. And then brisket. I mean, we do a lot of salt, pepper, garlic with the brisket.
Right. Honestly, Jesse, I don't know if I've ever said this before, but dude, my favorite pork is just an SPG pork. It's
and sometimes that's my favorite rib too. Is like sometimes I just go with a dry rib that's just salt, pepper, and garlic, and let it sit by itself. It's like let that pork flavor really just pop out.
Yeah, and then you can also build off that too. So if you just do the basic SPG you put it in the smoker, go through your process, and then people can add sauces to whatever they're liking. You can get a hot sauce, hot barbecue sauce, or even a mustard sauce, or just your traditional barbecue sauce. So you can actually hit different profiles with that SPG, and that's just everyday backyard cooking. That's what I really, really enjoy.
Yeah, people around.
Up here, we don't use sauces. There's not a lot of sauce up here when it comes to ribs and stuff like that.
Yeah, sauces is kings in Utah, and the palates in Utah tend to be, I have some customers come in and, well, my wife thinks ketchup is hot. I'm like, well, you might be in the wrong store, but let's bring up your flavor and add a bunch of sweet to it, and your wife will be just fine.
Right. Yeah, I was for a while. I was a big non-sauce guy, just let the meat shine. But man, it's just another layer of flavor. You can just always elevate it. So
and you can go a million different directions with your sauce. You can go from fruit forward, or you can go a little bit more spicy chipotle, or go the vinegar base, because I love vinegar on any pork product. So
right. Well, we were on our way to Las Vegas. We stepped in Parowan. Jesse, by the way, probably some of the best barbecue I've ever had is at High Voltage Barbecue in Parowan. They're only open Fridays and Saturdays. Brisket is on point. They had a brisket sausage that was fantastic, and then obviously we got the pulled pork and chicken as well. But everything tasted great. But right in the center of the table, man, there was some the Hey Girl Hey Gold, the zesty gold, and man, I just put that in a dipping container and just dipped a little bit of that sauce and with everything, dude, and it just elevated it to the next level. So if you're ever,
it's a nice sauce.
Yeah, and if you ever just heading down south, dude, you need to check that out, because man, it was a home
on the weekends. It's like up in northern Utah, there's not really any good barbecue except for Redbeard's Barbecue, and he's open Wednesday night and Friday day, and he sells out every time, and he's making 50 briskets on a Friday.
Wow. That's crazy.
And it's solid.
We don't have a lot of barbecue restaurants in Minnesota. Like, the city or the state doesn't like barbecue. So their idea of barbecue is smoked liquid smoke.
What state are you in again?
Minnesota.
So you guys are fans. So it has to have you come up with a cheese-based sauce. You'll be fine.
We actually we have a company at the Minnesota State Fair that's going to be using our sweet this year on one of their new items. So they're working on I got to help them figure out a sauce for their new item this year.
Right. Yeah, man. Jesse, you're going to open a restaurant. You're going to be open 2 days a week. High Voltage Barbecue has 4 pits that are probably 25 feet long.
Oh, wow. Old school pits and offsets.
Big old school offset pits. Dude, he's not going to be operating Monday through Friday this time next year. It's going to be a Monday through Friday. Sorry, not a Saturday, Sunday only. It's going to be a Monday through Friday. I'm calling it now.
You think? But Parowan, I mean, you gotta look at your. I know there's a lot of people traveling up and down I-15, but what's the population base in Parowan?
Well, when we were in there on Saturday, it was busy. There's 25 people in there. And there was no highway advertising for it. You just got to know that it's there. So imagine if he did some highway advertising.
Right. Especially if he's got room for 18-wheelers.
Right. Yeah.
Barbecue this next stop. All you got to do is, you don't even have to say the name. Barbecue this next exit. Take it.
They're all over it.
Yep. Well, truck drivers will be all over it.
Exactly. You just have to have almost like a pre-packaged still. They have to stop at the exit before, place the order. They phone it in and they have it ready to roll because he does not have 18-wheeler parking.
No, he doesn't.
So it's just
better buy out some of that land next door.
Yeah, exactly.
There's space in Parowan.
Right. So Minnesota, what temperature did you guys get up there today? I heard you guys are starting to thaw out a little bit up there.
So in Minnesota, when I tell people Minnesota is the most bipolar state, we were 75 yesterday. I had a friend of mine. She just sent me a message. She's supposed to get snow, and she's 2 hours north of me today.
Oh, jeez.
It was 75 yesterday. We had tornadoes yesterday, and it's 40 degrees today.
Right. Wow. So it makes it really hard to time your cooking. Obviously, it doesn't. If you're gonna cook, you're still gonna cook, but it just makes it nicer when you're not having to fight the weather.
Yeah. So we tell people we got 9 months of winter and 3 months of summer.
Because we wheeling in the Utah mountains Easter weekend, and we were between 6 and 12 feet of snow up on the mountains. It was so much fun.
Yeah, we had snow up till about 2 weeks ago.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, wait a second, Jess. You said 6 feet of snow still up there?
There's places where there's probably 12 to 16 feet of snow.
Jeez. And they're saying we're already heading towards a drought this summer.
That's wild. But there's sometimes the areas we go is there's a drift up there that's usually can be almost 40 feet. So it's not even close to a big winter up on Monte Cristo.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, we don't get nothing like that.
Yeah. There's a spot. I can't think of it on the top of my head, but it's like one of the coldest spots.
It's called the Sinks. It's Peter Sinks.
There we go.
On your way to Bear Lake. I think it's like 1 degree away from the coldest low temperature on record in the United States. I think it was 59 degrees below zero.
Yeah.
It's just a really special. We used to go snowmobiling up there all the time, and it's just this little bowl where the cold can't get out as it starts to settle. It doesn't go anywhere for weeks on end. It just sits there and get colder and colder and colder.
Yeah, I think last year we hit with the wind chill. We hit negative 62.
Jeez.
Wow. For a week straight, something like that.
Yeah. You can't even start your trucks in that weather.
You got to keep them plugged in.
Yeah, they're plugged in if you got the diesels.
Right? That's crazy. That is.
We were up. I played football up in Rexburg, Idaho, Rick's College, and there was a full week solid that it never got past 35 below, and they never canceled classes.
What?
Yeah, we don't cancel. It's literally got to be.
There's no snow days.
No, if it's not 45 to 50 below and feet of snow, our kids are going to school.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, honestly, like if you grew up in Utah, you should know how to drive in the snow, but it's the other people that moved in from Texas, California that don't know how to drive, and they're the ones who's ruining our freeways, and that's why we're getting snow days because they don't know how to drive. Sorry, people from Texas and California, you can email me, we'll hash it out.
Because even Utah, it starts to rain and people forget how to drive in the snow.
That's here too. Yeah, that's here too.
It's weird, Jesse. I remember when I was growing up, people drove in the snow like normal. There wasn't major pileups and 4-hour delays. It's honestly the people that moved from sun states to here.
But we also gone from 800,000 people to 4 million on the Wasatch Front. So there's a lot more traffic, a lot more people, and a lot more people that have moved in.
Yep. Oh man.
So
we want.
I love driving in the snow. I love it too.
First thing I do is make sure I get my car or truck sideways in a fresh snowstorm. I'm just like, let's get it sideways, get her loose, so we can be ready.
go drifting in the dually.
Exactly, man.
That's what we do up here. I tell people, coming to the corners, make sure you're clear and throw the ass end out.
Biggest thing is you got to be able to stop. That's the biggest thing in weather is like you got to give yourself enough room to stop. And that's what people don't do around here.
Yeah. John Main's tuned in here, man. He's from Alaska. He's like, snow days. What's that? That dude's dealing with snow, grizzly bears, moose, everything. Yep. Literally, he posted a picture of a grizzly bear in his backyard like last week.
Wow.
Like, yeah, that's too close to comfort for me.
Bang bang.
Yeah.
Dinner.
Right.
Break out one of those Hoyts.
Right.
Launch a big old heavy arrow.
That's true. I don't know.
Yeah, my brother and I got 2 black bears the last couple of years.
Wow.
Did you eat it?
Yeah.
I heard
you cook it like pulled pork. You just put
just like pork. But
yeah.
Yep.
Do you add any fat to it? Because I heard it's technically a little bit leaner than regular pork.
It's still fatty. There's some fat in there. Yeah. You just wrap it good and make sure you put a lot of juice in there with it. Man, it's a really rich, deep, dark red meat. And then there are some areas, if you're lucky, you got those black bears feeding on blueberries, and they call them blueberry black bears. And I guess those are absolutely delicious.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah. I've had bear
same thing with cougars.
Yeah.
Cougars taste like pork, and now you can hunt cougars all year round in Utah.
Right. You got to get them dogs though. That's the expensive part.
Well, you be an opportunist.
True.
You see them from time to time, and if you hear chirping that sounds like a bird, half the time it's going to be a cougar.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's why I always carry a 10 millimeter on my chest when we're in the mountains. People are like, why are you carrying a gun? I said, you never seen a cougar up here? Well,
right.
I guarantee they're seeing you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. For real. Seriously. I've seen cougar out there before too. And I'm like, yeah, there's a reason why this is here. It's not to scare anybody, but it's legitly to protect. And you've seen the videos, Jesse, of these people here hiking in Utah that are literally getting chased down the trails from cougars that are just So it's a thing.
Be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, we mostly deer hunt up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you guys are white. You guys are whitetail country, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of whitetail.
The camp we did elk camp this last year, and one of the ranchers that's part of that CWMU, they had a Boone and Crockett whitetail taken off of his property up in Woodruff. He said it was a monster. So they're coming down from Montana, coming down the river bottoms. That's where they like to live, and somebody took a monster off of his farm. So
wow. There's that one kid. It was I think Missouri. First year out, he was like 11 years old, and he shot a 21 pointer. I'm like, you're done.
Yeah,
you're done. Everything else in life's a disappointment.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. That is exactly the truth.
Yeah,
because we had a guy in elk camp, first elk hunt ever. He was in camp for 4 hours and took a 330 bull.
Jeez, that's respectable.
That's
just done.
Yeah. I mean, good luck getting another one of those.
Yep.
Yeah. To crack a 400-inch bull, you got to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to even that. So a 330 is very respectable.
Get super lucky, you know what I mean?
I don't even think you can get super lucky anymore, man. It's just super rare.
Yeah. Well, especially with a bow, you know.
Yeah.
He obviously he took his with a rifle, but man, I started practicing with the bow this week. I practice, I got really super sick Saturday. So I go shoot Sunday because I got a 3D shoot on Saturday. I shot so much, I got to the point where I couldn't even pull my bow back.
Man.
I felt so weak, and I'm like, is something wrong with my bow? I said, like, I should be able to pull my 74 pounds all day long. But
right.
I got the point. I couldn't even pull it. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Muscle memory. It's huge in archery.
Yeah. Yep. My wife's a bow hunter. She bow hunts. I do not.
That's awesome. Bow hunting's fun. Go get yourself a Hoyt.
Yeah. I need one of those new RX9s. If Hoyt's listening, Jesse Johnson needs an RX9, and I will pimp the hell out of it.
Right. Well, cool, Cory. Is there anything else that you wanted to shout out or say before we let you go tonight?
We just got on our site 20% off with the promo code Pitmasters. Take advantage of it.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Heck
So,
yeah.
You're gonna have to we'll hook up and we'll have you send out some samples and maybe we can get them in the stores.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Sweet, I know Crystal's got a bunch of them. She was supposed to get them up to us and she neglected to do so. That's what she said. She said she forgot.
It happened.
Yeah. Forgot.
But yeah, we're also sponsoring her too. So
yeah, she forgot as she's posting all these foods with it. Crystal.
Yeah, she sent us a picture of she's really working on her wing recipe and she was using your stuff, so she loves it. So
yeah, we're sponsoring her. So we told her anything she needs, just let us know.
That's awesome of you. Appreciate doing that for her. She's an amazing person.
Yes, for sure.
It was awesome for her to reach out to us because I didn't even know nothing about it. She came to my live on TikTok one day.
Nice.
Very cool.
Cool. Well, all right, man. Do you want to just go ahead and give some social media plugs where to find you and your website? And then
you can find us on TikTok. Everything's the same. Hearth Heroes BBQ. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's all the same. HearthHeroesBBQ.com. Like I said, Pitmasters saves you 20%. We ship within 24 to 48 hours typically. So
nice.
Take advantage of it.
Get some fresh stuff, guys.
Yep, get it.
I appreciate it, guys.
Guys and gals.
Yeah, no problem. Yep, exactly. Well, alrighty. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. And then, we'll catch you listeners again on the flip side. And with all your followers that are chiming in, just make sure you follow this the Pitmasters podcast as well.
Yeah, follow
on YouTube. Download the YouTubes. Yep, exactly. Facts. Alrighty, guys. Everybody have a good night.
You too.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.